Hello, film fans. Welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast YouTube channel, the place where episodes are untouched and uncut. My name is Martin Harries, your host. I'm a filmmaker on occasion, but mainly can't stop yapping about movies. On this podcast, every episode, we pick a topic from a film that's coming out at the cinema or on streaming. I pick a favorite film from that topic and battle it out against a guest to decide which film will become the greatest film of all time. If you enjoy this podcast, hit that like button and subscribe. Please enjoy the show. Hello, Podderoonies or Podsters, if you prefer. We are back for 2024. And no, we are not back with a regular episode. We are returning with a spoiler special on, let's face it, people, the best film of 2023 featuring a fishman. I think that's quite accurate to say. And of course, I am not alone. Oh no. I'm joined by Leigh again from the Lights Camera Rant, our last guest from our last episode. Now our first guest for 2024. Hello, Leigh. How are you?
Huh. Happy to be your last guest and your first guest for the year. As always, man, thank you so much for having me. And you couldn't be more right. The Fishman movie of the year for 2 hours. We got which
it was that long. Apparently, it felt longer, but
it did. But when you compare that to Shazam 2, I felt like this was a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I didn't bother with that one.
Don't worry, I don't think many people did.
No, big flop. I do like Zachary Levi, though. I think he's great as Shazam, but yeah, I didn't really bother with that one. Leigh, people might know already, but tell us about your podcast and where can we find you?
You can find me on wherever you get your local podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. And as always, we talk about the latest in movies, TV shows, and video games to help everyone keep up to date. And usually, majority of it's just a lot of ranting and me complaining.
Yep, we might get some ranting today, possibly.
Yeah, we will.
Basically, to keep me warm and Leigh cold.
But
so we are talking Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom then. What were your initial reaction to this one then, Leigh?
Well, I went into this with very low expectations. As you would have heard as well, this was chopped up by Warner Brothers, reshoots, different cuts of the film, apparently early reactions, test screenings were received poorly. And not to mention, we were meant to get this actually a year ago. And we know going into this was going to be the last DCEU film in this universe. So it wasn't going to connect to anything, which it doesn't. My initial reaction to this was I thought that it was decent and it was a lot more coherent than all the DC films that we got last year.
Yeah.
Comparing it to like The Flash.
Yeah, that wasn't... I mean, the CG in that was really poor at times.
Rough.
Yeah. I mean, even with this one, still not great, to be honest, at times. But I think for me, like, again, I kept my expectations really low.
Very low.
I still had a good time. Underwater low. I still had a good time. Like, there's some really interesting design elements here. I'm a big design guy in movies, so I really enjoyed that stuff. Like the story, like some of it makes little to no sense whatsoever. There's some really interesting influences from other big franchises, which I found really interesting, and there's some really weird Marvel references. I don't know if you saw that, which I found really odd and weird. I'm like, surely you want some DCEU references in here, not Marvel ones, but sure, go ahead. Like, we've got Spirit in the Sky,
like playing a few times. I'm like, that is synonymous with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Why is this playing in this movie? That
Yeah.
made sense. That made no sense. And then you've got Randall Park in the film. Yeah, he's a great actor, but like he's been in like two. Well, he's been in the Ant-Man films, the Ant-Man sequels, and
WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah, so that was a kind of a weird choice for an actor.
Uh,
He's great, but it was just a bit off-putting. I'm like, hang on, that's
I know
the
you.
dude from Marvel.
Yeah. I did say to my friend, like, did James Wan just watch Iron Man and Black Panther before finishing this film in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, like that
Like,
guy looks amazing. I have to have him in my Aquaman sequel. And I
yeah,
think the
and
other major issue I had with this is just obviously there was a lot of problems. Like you have, as you've already mentioned, a lot of reshoots. I think at one point both Batmans were supposed to be in this film, like Ben
yep.
Affleck and Michael Keaton, which sounds wild. And obviously you've got the Amber Heard problem, so it's kind of funny with her as well, with the fact that you can clearly tell there's so many scenes like chopped out here where she was supposed to
Thank
be
you,
in it.
thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
I. She was in it a lot more than I expected it to be.
yeah,
That was probably my most thing is, but she was in it just enough to push the story, but
yeah,
no more,
yeah.
and that's
No more
it.
character stuff. She just needs to be here to be a mum. That's it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Just need your mum scenes, and
Yeah,
of course that you'd be protecting your city with your mother-in-law, but that's
yeah.
about it.
I feel like as well. I don't know if this is kind of an intentional thing, but it would be absolutely hilarious if it was. I just found like because she can manipulate water, right, in her powers, which is a cool power. But I found like the CG was really bad when she was doing her powers. I don't know if they did that on purpose. That would be hilarious if the
They just
FX guys did that on
they
purpose.
didn't
I
finish
can't
her
be asked
scene.
with her CG effects for her character. She's a bitch.
Yeah, you're wrong, Johnny. So I'm not helping you.
Yeah.
And
But I think the other issue I had was the fact that is the first film was felt so epic and so incredible. Like, yes, it's goofy and crazy, but that's kind of sometimes what you want with superhero films. Like, really going to push the boat out. And James Wan like really went for it in that first film. I mean, it
mm,
made an incredible amount of money. That first one, $1
over
billion,
$1 billion.
which
Yeah.
is insane. I mean, the internet was literally, and TV shows, pop culture was literally taking the piss out of Aquaman for years, and then this film like completely like changes the narrative on this
Mm.
particular character with that first film, and then this film just feels like a damp squib, you know, a damp squid. In comparison, just in terms of its scale and its ambition, which I guess it's difficult anyway from the first film, but surely you got to try and match that. I didn't feel like they really attempted to try and match that scale.
No, I agree. Like this seemed like didn't seem like they really brought anything new to the table. I'm like, you're rehashing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Black Manta is a very significant villain
Yeah.
in the Aquaman comics, but I'm like, this felt to me like you're just kind of like, oh, we're just going to use him again, and we're going to get Norm back into this, but we're not really going to expand a whole lot. Like
Yeah.
it's global warming in a kingdom that apparently no one told anybody about. That's full of zombies.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Marvel storylines that we've kind of seen already in the films. Like with that, that's kind of reminded me a lot of Thor Ragnarok, where Odin erases the existence of Hela and her zombie army, and they basically borrowed that for this one as well. And you've got Wakanda Forever in there as well. Like I think they did that really well with the debate of whether
They should be
whether
involved.
Namor should reveal himself to the outside world or whatever. That was some really interesting stuff, and obviously they use that here, whereas Aquaman, Arthur Curry, is trying to do that and convince the Atlantis Council or whatever to reveal themselves, and a lot of that stuff felt very weak compared to Wakanda Forever. But obviously in Wakanda Forever as well, they don't really close that story. That's still very open. Who knows whether we'll find out answers about whether Namor's world, I can't remember what it's called, but Namor's world, because obviously it's Atlantis in the Marvel comics, but whether they'll, reveal themselves in the MCU, I doubt it, to be honest. Whether they'll bring that story back in future Black Panther movies, I don't know, but we'll have to wait a bloody long time, I think.
Well, at this rate, with everything getting delayed, or people getting recast before getting starting shooting. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, not to compare, but like that last scene in the movie, I'm like, I've seen all this, and I've seen this recently. Like, you're not bringing anything. Like, it fits the story, but I feel like you could have done this in a different way. Because I'm like, surely you shot this going, I've seen this before.
Yeah. It oozes reshoots, that last scene, definitely.
Yeah, that is the worst CGI in the entire movie, to my point. When he's standing in front of New York, I'm like, that's bad. It looks worse than what it does when you're underwater.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help when you've got like a really bright CGI suit and it's kind of orange chainmail, and standing next to him is a fish dude with the guy losing his claw, it just looks kind of unintentionally funny as well.
I know.
And like all the government guys are all in suits as well, so that doesn't really help, looking all very serious. I'm like, we believe what Aquaman is saying, even though he looks ridiculous.
Even what he's wearing, like, I believe you. Yeah. Because, Atlanteans are one of the most powerful forces, which to me, I'm like, how doesn't anyone know about Atlantis with Aquaman? That was my thing.
I guess they didn't watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, I guess.
There's just a guy with a giant pitchfork. I'm like, must be one of Batman's.
But must be one of Batman's sidekicks or something.
Yeah, must be. But like, did you notice that as well? There was no connection to. There was no mention of any other Justice League. There was no mention of anything prior. Like, this was just a straight up sequel to that first Aquaman.
Yeah, which I think is a real shame, to be honest, because going into it, and the studio knew this as well with the reshoots, is that this is going to be the last DCEU film before James Gunn takes over and deletes the E. And it felt like no celebration of the films, because let's not be too harsh on the DCEU. There are some good films in there, Aquaman being one.
The first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the first Wonder Woman is fantastic. Probably my favorite DCEU film. Man of Steel has its problems, but it's still pretty good. It set the tone for this universe. But there's been some real duds as well, like the Wonder Woman sequel, 1984. Oh my God, that was bad. Really, really poor.
What annoys me is that you have a whole bunch of people in a writing room and like, you go, we have one of the most powerful women on the planet, a goddess who can literally break necks and take names. But the best story we have is she fights a wishing stone. I'm like, is that really, out of her entire rogues gallery, is that really the best story we could do?
Yeah, I think they were just trying to be too clever for their own good and too nuanced for their own good, really, which was a shame with that film. Yeah, so there are some good movies, and
Ex-
it's just a shame that we didn't get. It would have been nice to just have a few jokes in there about like the other Justice League members, or a few little cameos here and there.
Mm.
That would have been nice, but so that was kind of a strange decision. Maybe they couldn't get the actors because of scheduling or whatever. But
then
like, surely
Aquaman was in Flash. But I didn't get that.
You're right.
They probably didn't really want Flash to come back for anything.
no, yeah,
Not if they
another
were shooting in
problematic
Hawaii.
actor.
Yeah. No, if they were shooting in Hawaii too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Probably
dear.
would invite him. But,
No.
but why take out the Batman scenes if it didn't continue to anything?
That would have been
Like,
awesome. I'm a big fan of. Well, I mean, I'm a fan of Batfleck in terms of the design stuff, and I think Ben Affleck's a great actor for Bruce Wayne. Like, I'm not a big fan of like Batman killing people, and like he literally has a rifle in a few scenes of the Justice League film. It's just like, what? Batman doesn't use guns. What the fuck?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And Batfleck was to me was the MVP of the Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that motorcycle chase was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was good. And I'm like, and to me, after I saw that, I'm like, this is what I would love to see in what that Batman his Batfleck movie would have been. But why even if you do have even if they just didn't use him and use Michael Keaton because we saw him in the Flash, I don't think a lot of people would have been like, oh, that doesn't make sense.
I don't think people would really care too much. I wouldn't anyway if we saw Keaton again in this film. I'm like, they could work out some sort of underwater portal or something.
That's right.
Time warp portal.
Yeah,
They've got magicians underwater, haven't they?
Yeah.
Atlantis.
They've got everything else.
Yeah. So let's get into it in a bit more detail then for this one with the scenes and the characters. So like the opening action scene where like Arthur is basically explaining what his life is like now is fine. Like we've seen that sort of thing done way better in other movies, but I loved how James Wan does like the action scene with the pirates on the container ship.
Yeah.
Where Aquaman is like running and jumping and about to punch everyone at the same time with his trident. But then we cut to him and his baby playing with action figures. That was great for me. That was funny. Kind of showed a lot of great confidence to the fact that they're not relying. I mean, there's a few punches and kicks in rain and slow-mo. That was kind of cool to see on that ship, but I felt it showed some cool confidence from James Wan to really underplay the action there. But then it's just disappointing that there's not a lot of like great confidence in the direction from Wan later on in the movie, which is a shame.
No, and for me, like I thought that action scene was good, and I even which we'll get into, even one at the end with Black Manta, like those action
was really
scenes.
Good,
yeah. That last one felt like I stripped straight from a comic book. That last fight between those two. But I will admit, Jason Momoa was the best person to play Aquaman, and he said straight off the bat. Yeah, yes, I talk to fish.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're very aware, I feel like, with these films that Aquaman is kind of a bit of a silly superhero compared to people like Spider-Man and Batman and things. So they do, like, tonally, this works really well.
Yes.
In its tone. It's just the stories and some of the characters which are a problem here, especially in this one. And I think the opening sequence in Antarctica with Randall Park with the tentacle monster, that was pretty cool. As I always say, if you've got tentacles in your movie, it's an automatic improvement for me.
Well, I know a particular culture would probably agree with you that too. But no, that was very like James Wan's horror kicking in.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
you
definitely. His horror
sense
skills
that.
coming through there.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I actually completely forgot about Randall Park. It was in the I'm pretty sure it was the cameo scene, or was it the last bit of the first Aquaman?
Was he in that one? Oh, right. Okay.
Because
I don't remember.
he saved. Yeah, well, I was the same. I was like, where did you come from? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right. You saved Black Manta right at the end.
Oh, okay. I really
And
need to
when-
rewatch the first one. It is a fun movie, the first one, I must say. Yeah.
It is. And
Because it goes crazy. It's like, fuck it. Let's have octopuses playing drums. Let's have a giant kraken played by music. What's it called? The famous film. I can't remember now.
After this recording, you're going to be
Yeah.
like, it was that.
Sound of Music. There you go. The Sound of Music lady, and I can't remember her famous name. Oh well.
Julia Roberts?
No.
No?
Julie Andrews. There you go. Julie Andrews.
That's right.
You can stop screaming at your headphones now, or your YouTube screen, as we're now on YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And William Dafoe, which is really gutting that he couldn't come back for this one, which was for, again, scheduling conflicts why he couldn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's because of Nosferatu. I'm not really complaining about that. I'm like, yep, you have to do that movie.
Yeah. Vanilla Fish Man.
Yeah. Or amazing horror film. Not a difficult decision.
Yeah. And Beetlejuice too.
Yes, definitely. It could be that as well. Yeah.
I did think that was one part I was like, oh, I do wish he was a little bit in it, because he did play such a big role of him being his mentor, and then just to be like, yeah, you die because of disease. Yeah, I really miss him. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in like everything. He's never done a bad performance, you know.
He always
so good.
Understands the mission. Like, look at Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's in his 60s now, mid-60s, and he insisted on doing all his own stunts for No Way Home, which is pretty awesome for that film.
Yep. And the balls that apparently when they asked him, he's like, I don't want a cameo. I want to be
in the movie.
I want to be in the movie. I want to F up Spider-Man again.
Good and proper this time.
Yeah, proper then.
I rewatched that over Christmas, actually. Technically a Christmas film. Like it is. It ends at Christmas when it's all snowy and nice. So yeah.
It is. And how'd you find it on the rewatch? Still the same kind of
I think
enjoyment?
I mean, there's like a lot of plot holes really up the wazoo, frankly, but it doesn't really matter because like a lot of the character stuff, and there's just so many joyful moments in that film. It's just like, I'm having an amazing time. I really don't care about the plot holes, you know. This is so good.
Out of the way. Anyway, yeah.
Back to Aquaman though.
Yeah. Back to Fishman too.
Yes. They really should have gone with that title. That would have been cool. So
Fishman 2, global warming.
So Black Manta's ship designs, I kind of really liked. I mean, the fact that it's literally shaped like a hammerhead shark was awesome to me. I was like, this is what I want. Yes. Like something very retro 60s inspired for me. Yes. You know, by far my favorite part of the film. I loved how like goofy and silly Manta's goons looked with those like leather suits that covered their heads. That was kind of hilarious.
I know, it reminded me like of a Bond film, like an old Bond film.
Thunderball,
you're wearing these outfits. I'm like, you're all so threatening.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome.
I agree. I agree with you. I love the retro effect. It made me think of it was like really old submarine type of movies. Like that I thought was cool. I do love the fact that you have this advanced civilization
Mm.
and technology, and this is how they built their ships.
Yeah. When I was a kid growing up, they on Channel 4, they showed a lot of reruns of things like Thunderbirds and Stingray, like these 1960s like puppet kids shows,
Mm.
which first aired in the 60s. I don't. It's kind of weird to me now looking back that they would rerun them still, like when I was a kid in the 90s, early noughties. But they were that popular, and I
Mm.
really loved those shows. And it really reminded me, the design elements reminded me a lot of like Stingray stuff, because there's a there's a villain ship in that show that's literally like a catfish with giant eyes. It's a ship, but it literally
Yeah.
looks like a catfish. It's amazing.
Perfect design.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, some of the effects are better in those kids shows than in the underwater stuff here, and I love like the yellow squid type subs, the bad guys pilot. Like they looked cooler than the
Yeah.
ones in the new Avatar film. Frankly, they
Oh.
the way they like rotate the arms to like propel themselves, and they can use the arms to attack Aquaman and Aurum. That scene in particular was really fun for me. Yeah, I love the
I,
design elements here of the bad
those
guys ship. Yeah, really
those
cool.
were cool. I'll admit those were cool how they came through. It's funny because when you mentioned the attack, this going through these different scenes made me think of Incredibles. I'm like, this could
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
You could have made this into a tie-in video game, and I feel like it would have fit perfectly. I'm like, oh, you go from Atlantis to Antarctica, you go to this
yeah,
tropical planet, you go to secret underwater base, then you go back. I'm like, this would have been a perfect video game.
yeah.
But you,
I I feel like we've covered a few spoiler specials now, you and I, and we've compared some films about how, with the direction and with the fact that they feel like video games. I feel like video games in particular I mean, I don't play them that much. I see a lot of trailers and stuff, and I'm die hundreds of times on Red Dead Redemption and the new Star Wars Survivor and
yeah,
games.
I feel
The
you.
Ginger Dude, they are hard, man.
Oh,
Cal Keskus, there you go. Is that
yes,
him? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I die many times with the rhino little dudes. I'm like, fuck you, die.
yeah. Mine was
But
mine was the Darth Vader scene that got me
oh
like
yeah,
30 times. I'm like, it's not that long of a fight, and I'm
yeah.
dying.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is the fact that I feel like direction styles are being really influenced from video games now. Like in this one in particular, in the caves where the Aquaman and Aurum go to the green volcano place where they find the factory
Yeah,
of they're making all this
calcium.
green stuff. Yeah,
What's they call it? Calcium or something like
yeah,
that. I'm
something
like,
like that.
Where'd you get that? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but you're
And a
right. They
separate
went
comic
to
book spin-off thing. But like, there's scenes here where like Aurum is like running through caves, and one of the villains is trying to kill him with the yellow octopus things. And like you've got these really great floating cameras as he's going through, like in a video game when you're trying to run away from something in when it kind of changes aspect ratio, changes perspective kind of thing in the
Mhm.
game, and or when like in the latest Star Wars games when you're sliding down and you've got to like jump the gaps and things. It just
Yes.
feels like games are influencing movies now. Do you get that,
Mm.
or am I talking
I
nonsense?
no, talking honest. I got major video game vibes from this. So
Yeah,
like, just the fact that they went to a secret underwater base, the fact that they had the yellow tentacle ship was trying to attack, and then Aquaman had to grab the giant crane thing that you had, to take it out. Like that seemed like something out of a cutscene that hit the crane for them to take it out at the right timing. Type, get the
yeah,
crane, hit that, so it takes him out. And then even going through the jungle, I'm like, that seems like something you would do
Yeah.
to go to the secret base. Which,
Yeah.
of course, apparently you can't be seen using human technology because all the greenhouse gases and
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, of course it is.
I feel like in that scene in particular, when they're running through the forest, I was like, yeah, this is a lot of filler stuff because they have no story here. This is basically a buddy movie,
This is a
buddy
buddy
cop
cop fish movie.
film. Yeah, and it's been chopped and changed so many times, and this scene just feels like absolute filler to get to the next scene. I mean, it was fun. Like, I love the giant locusts that were trying to kill them. That was funny and fun, but yeah, very fillery
King builds
to me.
bridges. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
I think their relationship was the highlight for the movie.
Yeah. I felt like it could have been better though. Like, some of the jokes fell flat a little bit for me.
Was it the cockroach? It was the cockroach, wasn't it?
I kind of like the cockroach bit, but like this one which just looked, it kind of went beyond the line of silliness when Orm is like running and he's like, I've never ran before, and he's got like his arms outstretched, and Aquaman's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, I've never run before. I'm like, no, you just look like a twat right now to get a joke.
I don't know. I love the fact he run faster than him. He's like, oh.
Yeah, and he's like, can't run properly, apparently.
Yeah. He's struggling because obviously, Jason Momoa didn't get Jack for this role this time.
Oh, right.
Because, unlike the first one, he never takes his top off.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene where he was putting on the muscle suit.
Oh, yeah, the invisible one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. If you don't want to get Jack, that's fine. Neither does Homelander.
Yeah, so some of the jokes felt a bit first base and mildly funny. Like, nothing like laugh out loud funny. Yeah.
Nothing like, oh, that was so good. More like,
yeah.
Fish talk.
Yeah. I think one of the really interesting influences for me that I saw in this film was from Lord of the Rings. Like, the demon villain dude was like a very green Sauron for me.
Yes.
Like, from...
Yes.
Yeah, and like very Minas Morgul, like the green and black castle from Lord of the Rings, with the design and elements there when we have like the backstory stuff. Where the Nazgul live in Lord of the Rings. That was kind of really interesting and fun. So all that was fun to see, and I liked the possession storyline with Black Manta. I think, yeah, he does amazing in that role. So they were teasing this like Sauron-like figure, supervillain, for like a long time, and there's some really interesting CG design as well. And you've got like, the devil on one shoulder and like on each of their shoulders when Aquaman and Orm are like grasping the fork. But then when the dude arrives, Aquaman literally throws his trident once and kills him. Is that it? I'm like, seriously? What? That was so disappointing to me. Like, you've teased this guy for pretty much most of the film. Like, he's literally possessed and making Black Manta, David Kane, I think his name is, like, literally going beyond crazy at times in a kids comic book film.
Oh, and nearly a baby death to match the comics, by the way.
Yeah. But then to literally wait all that time and for him to literally live for literally 30 seconds, I'm like, so less than that. I'm like, really? Again, that screamed, it just screamed the film's a mess.
Yeah, I just didn't. That annoyed me too. I was like, you could have at least given him a fight. Like, do another try and fight in a different style, but not just to kill him and just to. By the way, there's a massive kingdom with zombies. The king is the brother of the old king. He's quite powerful. Yeah. He's been influencing this entire movie, and you took him out with a second spear attack, and that's it. And all these people died again, or they're already dead, I guess, because they're zombies. But that was just over so quickly.
And even with like the big scale action stuff, even with the big scale action stuff, like it just felt, in terms of the direction and like how things are cut out, it just feels like the geography of what the hell is going on just isn't there, like where people are in relation to the scene. It just felt really frustrating. It just felt like they were just throwing stuff at the screen and like, okay, this person needs a moment, this person needs a moment. There's no cohesion to create an action scene, which is a real shame, because you've got some really great like one-to-one hand-to-hand combat stuff, as we've said, like between Aquaman and Black Manta. That was really well done.
So good.
And it just feels like they put all their effort into those scenes, which was amazing from James Wan, and then like the big spectacle stuff was just kind of just left to the special effects dudes. And I mean, they're, we've said in the past that those guys are kind of overworked now, and like I feel like there's so many directors out there, or just the way films get made now with these big studios is the fact that they just leave a lot of the work to those guys, and they don't get a lot of help from the director and the producers of like how they want the film to look and play out in scenes, to make them feel good and work for the story. So it's just really frustrating in that aspect.
It is.
And even going back to like the one-to-one action stuff, and in terms of the story, like why not have like Black Manta team up maybe with, because he's not possessed at that moment, team up with Aquaman and Aurum, and like you have a four-way fight, and like the Green Sauron like literally owning all three of them for a moment. That would have been awesome, and like really I would have gained a lot more respect for the movie if they kind of did something more epic like that, because I know they can do it because the epic scale is there in the first one.
Just don't go so generic. That's don't just go the easiest. Well, I can't really have a word for it, but just don't go for the paycheck. Don't go for the money shot. Just don't always just go for the money shot. Make something a little bit different. And you're right. I would have loved to have seen Black Manta team up just briefly against against I just forgot his name too. So there's Green Sauron. But the thing is, like, they went generic that way, but Black Manta died, which I wasn't expecting that. That he kept to his mission that I'll never help you, I'll never team up with you.
Yeah, that was a good moment for me, that he would rather die than be saved by Aquaman. I feel like Yahya Abdul Mateen, I think that's his name, the second, is great in the role. Just really, like, he has a really great evil presence to him, and nothing about this film is subtle at all, and you don't want subtle performances here at all, because it would just feel really strange. I feel like a lot of people are shitting on this film, but I mean, like, this ain't a fucking Oscar film, people. Like, this is a comic book film. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable, and there's definitely enjoyable moments in here. It's just story-wise, and again, all the controversy around it has hurt this film a lot, big time, which is a real shame, because I really like the first one.
Well, that's with Amber Heard, and it's the reshoots. Like, it's not how I think the DC should have been sent off. But out of everything that we got last year, this was still their better option they had.
Yeah.
I don't think the Flash would have been really good to finish it off with that George Clooney scene.
No. Oh, God. I don't know why they
Shazam.
did that. I'm like, no one was asking for George Clooney to come
No,
back.
no one asked this. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been a bigger pop if it was Robert Pattinson. That would
Yeah.
have been the bigger.
Mm. But then at the
But
same time, it would be a massive sigh. I'm like, oh no, don't ruin that universe.
yeah. Oh no, he's now joined the DCU.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not how I thought
Mm.
they would end it.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, I said on my review too. I'm like, this movie kind of reinforced me to just go back and watch the first one
Yeah.
and maybe not watch this again.
Yeah.
Like,
First one's a
there's
lot
no,
more fun.
yeah, and a little bit better humor, better direction. I guess maybe because, well, besides the controversy, that they knew that this was going to be continuing.
Yeah.
Like, they might
I
have
mean,
already
they
gone
weren't
into
good.
this.
I mean, Warner Brothers were never going to, like, you know, put a big tax write off for this one. That would be crazy. They would have a huge, you know, backlash for that, especially what they did with Batgirl. So,
I know, which I still don't understand, that when the fact you have the villain playing Brendan Fraser, who's currently going through a career resurgence at the moment,
yeah, that makes no sense.
would have got you more eyes on the project. And you had
Yeah.
Michael Keaton back as Batman.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that guy is so unlucky at the moment. Like, you know, Keaton's Batman was supposed to be in Aquaman, nope. Supposed to be in Batgirl, nope.
Yeah.
And only
No.
the Flash survives.
That's right. And then he appears in Morbius.
Oh, really? Does he? I
Useless-
didn't bother with that. Really? That's Marvel. Oh, yeah. He's
Yeah, sorry, but I mean, like,
yeah.
you know, his roles that aren't working out for him at
Vulture.
the moment.
Yeah.
Vulture, yeah. No, you don't need to go watch Morbius. That's a lot worse than Aquaman. A lot worse. But
Good guess.
it all came to an end, and even at the ending, it's a bit like, as we've said, like, the CGI looked bad, and he's like, I am Aquaman.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so is Iron Man. Like, you've just ripped off a movie that's about 12, 13 years old now.
Yeah, which did it way better. But at least he did it in his Jason Momoa way, you know, because he's basically playing himself, frankly, let's be honest.
he is. This entire movie is just an elevated version of his personality.
Yeah.
And you're also right in saying, I think there's a scene when after where are they there? I think after the attack. Oh no, sorry. After he breaks out Norm in the desert,
Right. Yeah.
and they're underwater, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, Black Manta's going to go to steal the child.
Yeah.
Like, that scene where they're there for 1 second and right on the ship, still having the conversation, I felt like a skip.
Yeah. A big skip. Yeah. I felt that a few times. Like that scene in particular where they find out that Black Manta has stolen their child. I think, yes, like the performances are very heightened, and you kind of need that for this film. But I think they went a bit too far, or there was a problem with the editing here.
Yeah.
When it just felt like everyone had their chance to say no, and then cut to another one saying no. I just found that it was sad, but then they kept cutting to all the different characters. I'm like, oh, this is getting funny now. Like, you need to stop.
Like, oh, of course the dad didn't really die, and then but I find,
I mean, come on, like, you got to kill someone, people.
no one died.
Let's have some emotional weight.
No one died except for Green Saron.
Yeah, the poor dude
I'm just
was
thinking that no one
alive
lost
for 30 seconds.
Yep, no one else lost their life. Even the fact that they attacked Atlantis.
Yeah.
Nope. Actually, no, sorry. The one person who did die was the first guy at the start who got eaten by the tentacle.
Oh yeah, yeah. No idea
Yeah.
who he was called, but sure.
Random Explorer 1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is
Uh,
some good stuff here. I think my favorite scenes were probably all the desert action stuff. Like, I love the horror-inspired bad guys in the Fisherman
Very
Desert
horror.
prison. Like a very like Evil Dead, like Pan's Labyrinth look to the goons for me, with like a big, with a bit of Star Wars in there, of course. You know.
And
For me, it was definitely the best action scene, which is kind of funny for an Aquaman film that the best action scenes
he's on land.
are all on land. Yeah, the big
Uh,
problem with the action scenes, underwater is the fact that they just didn't feel like they were underwater at all.
no, like I
Yeah.
think Wakanda Forever did it better. The
Oh
underwater
yeah,
scene.
absolutely. Yeah.
But I will agree with you. I really did like the scene when Norm touches the water for the first time,
Yeah, that was cool.
and
Yeah.
he just pops up in the water and just attacks him. And I just love I love how Aquaman's like, "Oh, I'm here to save you, castaway. Come on."
Yeah, that was a good joke. Yeah. Yeah, I just love that over the head shot, that bird's eye view shot of like he's in the water in Jesus mode, Jesus skinny mode. The water comes, washes over him, a little bit of slow mo there, and then he's ripped Patrick
And
Wilson.
jacked.
Yeah, I think Patrick Wilson does a great job here. But again, like his performance doesn't really correlate to how he was like in the first film. It's like he's not pissed off or super evil against Aquaman at all. It's like, he literally imprisoned you for like 5 years, stole your kingdom. And it's, it's fine. I'll help you on your quest.
Yeah. Well, even the scene with Black Manta, that's like where I was like, so you stole his kingdom, you stole his wife. Shame on you, Aquaman. Shame on you. I was like, that's cringe.
Yeah. I really like Patrick Wilson, though. I think he is the one performance where he is toning it down a little bit compared to everyone else. Again, like, has some great action stuff, that one in particular. And even just the action when they're riding the, whatever they're called, the scorpion things. I think that was actually really well done.
I also like how they're like, oh, if they see you, this could mean a war, which they do see him.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting as well. Again, another frustration, like towards the end with Patrick Wilson's character as Norm. Like, there's a moment where with Dolph Lundgren, like Dolph Lundgren is being attacked by like they're climbing the castle.
He's like, "No, I'm
Green
going to get
Castle. You." Yeah, and then you get this great like slow mo shot of him like having a slight smile on his face while Dolph Lundgren is being attacked by the zombie, which was great. And then he walks off, and I'm like, yes, let's have some evil Patrick Wilson for a bit. But no, a few minutes later, 30 seconds later, he comes back to save Dolph Lundgren. I'm like, really? That's so cliched.
I know. I think only pretty much there, and whether the Pirate Bay scene is where he's a little bit evil.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Which is Martin Freeman is the fish.
Really?
Or Kingfish, if you will.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I like how do you know about this place? So every king in the past has given a blind eye. I'm like, not now. Like, you're all stuffed yourselves now.
It's interesting with the buddy cop, like buddy movie storyline. I always kind of enjoy that type of story where a good guy has to team up with a bad guy to achieve their mission. Doesn't really make a lot of sense here. Just go to the library or the underwater library and find out. Or, do some investigating yourself, Aquaman. Come on.
Yeah.
But
But
So that didn't really make a lot of sense. But the line that's kind of was really interesting and funny and frustrating at the same time was the fact that Aquaman says, "There's only one man that can help me on this mission," and I'm like, "Is Superman in this movie? Awesome!" And then he's
Great.
like, "My brother Orm." I'm like, "Oh, really? Not Superman, your friend
No,
from the Justice
Flash.
League, who's way more powerful."
Yeah, or Batman, who would have been
Yeah.
able to find that island straight
Yeah.
away.
That's why I feel like Batman, one of the Batmans, was supposed to be the other like buddy in the buddy movie, but they just changed it to Orm and just kept it as a closed off Aquaman film.
Story. Yeah.
You know.
Well, I probably the most scene I was expecting to see Batman in was going to be at the ending. Then he might have been in the crowd and been like, "Good for you, mate."
Yeah.
But not even that. Like, imagine if just imagine if the last shot would have been all of them at the Watchtower watching it. How much
All
that
along the
seemed,
Watchtower.
yeah, on the Watchtower.
film.
Imagine them watching it. How cool that would have been. That if that was the final shot.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Totally agree.
But nope.
No, yeah. I mean, Nicole Kidman is in this as the exposition woman. That's about it, really. That her role. That's about it from her, to be honest, which is really disappointing. You've got like an amazing Oscar-winning actress, and she's just her mum for a bit and just exposition woman. I'm like, that's a shame.
Yes, there is a seventh kingdom. Yes, and this is highly volatile material that we keep in a vault that can begin global warming. That we just keep. And I'm not going to tell. Also, I really miss my husband. And tell Norm I love him because I'm never going to see him again.
Yeah.
Even her scenes, even like Dolph Lundgren did more, I feel like, than her.
Yeah, let's get the guy who's famous for saying, "I will break you," rather than using an Oscar-winning actress. Okay, fair enough.
You don't know that. Have Dolph Lundgren stay on the entire story.
Yeah. Why is he ginger? I don't understand. Nothing against gingers. I love gingers, but
I don't know.
It's not a great look.
I don't know why. And just the floating hair. It just floats. I'm like, oh my god. But
I quite like the fact that in the first Aquaman, they make a real conscious effort to create these like underwater bubbles so they can talk to each other, and they're just completely like, nah, that's stupid. Let's just have them talk normally underwater.
Yeah, that's completely taken away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess they can just talk normal now. I guess you never needed the bubble.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem as well, is that I feel like they never really established a real good look and tone visually of how the underwater stuff was going to work. And I think they just made the decision in this one and the Justice League stuff as well, is that let's just have a bit of wavy hair and a few bubbles here and there, but for the most part, let's just have them talking normally with no particular sound effect, or they was just struggling to find what would sound good and look good for a long time, and they just were like, nah, let's just have some basic effects that make them seem like they're underwater a little bit and go from there.
Flowy hair. And that's actually another thing that brought out is compared to Aquaman, compared to the Justice League movies, Atlantis looks a lot darker, and Mira's wearing more armor.
Yeah.
When she's in fighting mode. Like, wouldn't that armor would have been really helpful with the fact that Atlantis is being attacked?
Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know whether they were. I mean, there's some like costume in films like these. They always want to develop the looks of these characters, don't they? They don't want to like keep the same costumes all the time. Like you see that with Marvel all the time. They always want like a new suit, don't they? Yeah.
But even though Amber Heard was in it very briefly, she didn't really have a new suit. She really just
No, yeah. Again, like they didn't really bother with her character at all. Like, yeah, let's chop her stuff down to maximum effect that we can make this film work. Yeah. And that's it. That's all you're getting, Amber. Screw
nothing
you.
more. Screw you. I work for Depp. And I think another thing is that with this movie, which it's going to be sad because it is what it is. It's going to be another major what if.
Yeah,
what's the original cut of the film? What was it meant to be? Where was Batman meant to fit? Because Warner Brothers is not going to include any of the deleted scenes. That's going to have Batman in it.
No.
Which is really annoying. But that's what was that going to lead to?
And I think also with the fact that we've had the announcement that James Gunn is taking over the DCU pretty early into the post-production, I would imagine, on this film. So, or even and with all the reshoots and stuff. I mean, that's got to affect you. That's got to affect your performance and your work ethic. That, like, these characters are not. Well, I would imagine these characters are not really going to continue into the new universe. I don't think we're going to see I don't think we're going to see Jason Momoa again as Aquaman. I mean, are we even going to see Aquaman again? Full stop. Well, I don't know.
Well, from the current lineup that James Gunn mentioned, no, there's no mention of Aquaman. He's really exploring different characters, which I'm all for.
Absolutely.
And I just think it probably just sucks the fact that it's going to be a very long time before we get a Justice League movie.
Yeah. I mean, like, the Zack Snyder one is enjoyable to a certain extent. I think there's some really good stuff in there, but again, like, you have the Zack Snyder problem.
The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut one, like, the big problem with that, it's just so long. I'm like, Jesus Christ. We don't need to see 10 different angles of Wonder Woman making tea with Alfred. I'm like, really?
You sure?
Let's move on.
I've always thought about going back to watching that movie, and every time I go to, I'm like, I really don't want to kill 4 hours of time rewatching this, and I don't want to watch half and watch another half later.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know there's someone listening right now go, oh, but you'll binge, 10 episodes of a Disney Plus TV show in one go. I'm like, yes, Snyder Cut is only 4
really
episodes.
Good.
Yeah, really good.
Apart from Secret Invasion, obviously. But
we don't talk about. Well, actually, no. As we're recording, Echo is about to drop.
Yes, I am excited for that. Like, really interesting strategy for Marvel as well. The fact that they're dropping it all in one go.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know whether that's they just want it out the way. Because there were reports of problems, I think, on that show.
Yes.
I mean, they've released literally on TV, on broadcast TV, of a whole clip, a whole fight scene between Echo and Daredevil.
Tell me, how are they going to talk to each other?
Sign language.
Daredevil was blind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't text WhatsApp. We'll have a WhatsApp sequence.
He's blind. He can't text.
Well, there'll be Braille. He's got a Braille phone. There you go.
That was my first thing where I was like, oh, Daredevil's going to be an Echo. I'm like, huh.
He's got Echo vision, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of.
That's very much from the only way I can think about is like how they're going to talk to each other. Like, are they only fighting because they don't know who's there?
Oh, God, that's funny.
You're right.
Final thoughts then, Leigh? Like, final thoughts on this film, and like, are you excited for the DCU from Gunn?
I'm excited for the James Gunn era of the DC.
Yeah.
I feel that James Gunn is a great architect. If he's at the helm, just like Kevin Feige, I don't think they could have got a better person to overlook it all. I'm glad they are. I know there is some debate, but I'm glad they're starting with Superman. I'm glad they're going to be doing like this, like Tom Holland's Spider-Man approach to it as he's Superman. Let's go. We don't need to see him going through Smallville again. We don't need to know all that. He's just boom. I think it's meant to be like year 2 or year 1 of him being Superman, which I'm really glad for. And some of the lineup that a Supergirl movie, I'm all for. I'm looking forward to some an overall arcing narrative that stays true and doesn't. Oh look, that didn't make a big box office. Oh, let's just change the plan. Or I know you're making this movie, but we're doing this over here. You can do just whatever you want.
Yeah. So with this film, like, there's some good stuff in here. I love all the retro designs, and there's some good action scenes on land. And but yeah, I'm excited for James Gunn's DCU, sorry. No E.
Yeah, just DCU.
Yeah, and the fact that with Superman Legacy and you're going to have other superheroes in there as well, which is really interesting. But he's categorically said that they will service Superman's story. So so don't expect like a spin-off TV show or a spin-off film. Then they're not in there to just set them up for their own show or film. They're here for Superman, for his story, which is really encouraging. And I feel like that's a great change of pace that James Gunn is focusing on. Like, just the idea of we're just going to make the best film that we can make and then see where we go from there. Yes, I guess there is an outline, I guess, with where the wider story is going, but I feel like his mentality is like, let's make the best film we can make, and see where it kind of goes. And also I'm excited for like his vision on his animated shows as well, because I think animation is
Commandos.
Yeah, Commandos. That looks really good. The concept art that he released, and the fact that he said that the animated characters will go into live action as well. And obviously Disney have played around with that type of thing in the Star Wars universe, to some good effect and some bad, I would say. There's always those kind of annoying people that like redesign the live action characters and like, it should look like this. I'm like, well, you're not on the movie or the show, so
no, just keep with the normal design. That'd be good. And I agree with you that I'm glad that Superman Legacy, they're just going in that just to make a good Superman film, and like very much like I remember James Gunn saying that with the first Guardians of the Galaxy, that Kevin Feige basically gave him full reign. It just basically had to include I think a cameo of Thanos, Infinity Stone, and that's it. I think the rest was fully up to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if he takes that same approach in Superman Legacy, that he's just going to finish here. He's just going to do this. The rest we can go nuts on. I mean, the fact that he's writing and directing it to kick off this universe, I don't think you could have a better person.
Yeah, super stoked for that film for sure.
July 2025.
Yes. Screw 2024.
Well, actually, you couldn't
Deadpool 3 though.
You mean Deadpool No Way Home? Which I just said this to, I've just recently on my last episode, was this year is the least superhero film year.
Yeah, which is gonna feel weird and interesting to see how that feels, really, and will be kind of quite refreshing, I think, for general like film goers. But yeah, weirdly though, like there's like 3 Sony Marvel films this year, which is not encouraging because none of them look good. Draven the Hunter, Madam Web, and
Venom 3.
Venom 3, yeah.
I can just imagine Sony being like, "Oh, it's my time to shine, assholes."
Yeah, I'm like, nah, it's not, mate. Nah, just end it now. You're literally running on idea fumes because you don't have Spider-Man.
I wish they did. Like, cool, you're gonna make a character of Madam Web that has these multi-dimensional powers, and you can't include Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make
that
it
makes
anyway.
no sense.
But now, a movie nobody asked for. Nobody asked for a Madam Web movie.
Yeah, a little frozen there, but we'll carry on.
No one asked for a Madam Web movie. No one was clamoring for it.
I like Dakota Johnson. I think she's a fabulous actress.
And Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney's great as well. It's just the idea here, because like Madam Web in the comics is like a witch type character. Is that right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I'll see that one, to be honest.
I sadly will, and my most thing I can already see happening in it is the scenes where they're all wearing their outfits. Those are the scenes.
Yeah,
just for 5 minutes each.
Yeah, just want to see that. That's it.
Yep, that's all you're gonna give us, Sony.
Yeah, so it feels like now going into 2024, 2025, especially, that this could be more of DC's time now and not Marvel necessarily. The MCU is going through a tough time at the moment. We'll see what happens with Deadpool 3. Marvel are having a well-earned break and pause to really figure their shit out, whereas I think DC could be taking over, maybe. Do you reckon that could be possible? And you've got Matt Reeves' Batman 2, the Batman 2 coming as well. We don't really know much about that. And you've got the Penguin TV show, which looks really cool, which could come this year.
It's meant to. I actually dropped a short yesterday about that.
Okay, yeah. Check that out.
Yeah. I think so. I think the Batman 2 is meant to come out next year as well. And I think if you've got Superman Legacy and Batman 2, I feel like they're surefire hits. And on the flip side, they're going up against Cat 4, Thunderbolts, and Blade.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Blade, will that film ever get made? I don't know. I don't think there's a director at the moment. Like, I think Mahershala Ali has been tempted to walk away from that film, and you've got like Cat 4. There's been reports of again extensive reshoots. So I feel like this could be DC's time to really take over in terms of quality. Over Marvel.
I think it is, but at the same time, as much as I think it would be DC taking over, I believe that another thing that will be not saying DC will be too late on. I feel like there's also going to be a resurgence, but a video game movies and TV shows are going to be the next big thing to take over Hollywood.
Do you reckon?
Because Last of Us, Super Mario movie, Twisted Metal, Gran Turismo, they've all been solid. So if Hollywood still catches on that wind, I think it's going to be next. Because we've got Fallout TV show around the corner. We've got Twisted Metal Season 2. We've got the God of War TV show at Amazon that I feel like you can't stuff that up.
No, you can't. When Boaz was on the show, he always mentions God of War sometime. Well, he loves the God of War movie games. He can't stop playing them.
They're
Yeah,
they're incredible.
yeah.
But as much as I'm a Marvel fan, I feel like 2025, if those are the only two DC films coming out, will encapsulate Marvel. Probably out of all three films, I feel like Thunderbolts will be the most interesting because it's the most different film out of all three.
Yeah, certainly not like power level interesting because like they're all just kind of strong. Those
Yeah.
characters, like you got Ghost as well that can go through walls and shit like that. But that's about it. But like they're really interesting, witty, funny characters. And you've got Florence Pugh in there, who's
Yeah.
amazing.
You
Kate
got
Bishop.
Bucky. Yeah. And Bucky, and I remember when they first announced that, I thought, yes, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
unlike Suicide Squad, it's going to make a lot more sense having these characters together.
Yeah.
And I think that will be the Marvel movie next year. If they can find someone to replace the villain.
Yeah, Stephen Young has left recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dream pick is Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Again, that's just the really interesting thing with Henry Cavill as well, is that with the whole DCU announcement with James Gunn, because obviously he left the Witcher TV show to come back as Superman because he was expecting to be in a Shazam sequel or come back as basically reprise the Man of Steel again in some capacity. But then when James Gunn came in, he was like, nah, I'm not. I want to recast and cast my own Superman. So he was just stuck in limbo, the poor guy. And now you've got Liam Hemsworth as the Witcher, which is a bit like, really?
Yeah, I feel bad for him, but he's got to, amongst all that, he has been able to. He will be appearing in the Amazon's Warhammer 4000 TV show.
40,000, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a massive.
Nerd,
he's one of us.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos of him literally building a PC on his own?
I know, and there's just comments of women throwing themselves out, and all he's done is built a PC. I think I always love the interview where Slay's interviewing him and another guy, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing in downtime?" And he's like, Warhammer 4000 is my jam." And then the other guy's like, "Oh, what army are you building at the moment?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm building this." He's like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Let's talk after this."
Yeah. Because for a long time, like he was too shy that people would care about like his Warhammer obsession. Like he didn't feel comfortable talking about it until in recent years that he's like, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. This is awesome. So which is great for him.
and he's also a big WoW player too.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully, and you've got Argyle coming up soon for Henry Cavill,
Yes,
which
with the flat top, and he looks like he's from Tekken.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, that film, if I'm honest, but the trailers aren't giving too much away for that. We are relating an episode to that one later this year, so wait for that one.
Looks weird
Matthew
and
Vaughn
different.
films.
Yeah. Hey, we just reviewed a Matthew Vaughn film not too long ago.
Which one
Perfect
was that?
plug. X-Men. First Class.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant on your show.
Oh, I know. No, I mean, no.
Yeah. Looking at the table for that, I'm like, I was quite harsh on that. Way down the list. Shit. Leigh ain't going to be happy.
Tornado. Oh, it's fine. And Tornado Man. Really useful. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well-dressed Tornado Man.
Yes. Got to remember that. Right. I think we will leave it there, people. Leigh, you have been amazing as always. We'll probably see him again soon this year, hopefully. Wink,
Hopefully.
wink. Thanks, man. It's time to say goodbye. It's goodbye from Leigh.
See you guys. Thank you for having me, man.
And it's goodbye from me. I'm going to try and erase all the Amber Heard scenes in my mind from this film and basically watch the first film with who's a good actress? Scarlett Johansson in the role instead. Half Mirror, half Black Widow for Aquaman in that role. How good would that be?
Should
Just
have
a bit
nailed
of
that.
chat GBT in there. Create that for me. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And that's a better movie.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. But don't stop there. Get involved and tell us about what your favourite films are relating to the episodes. Hit that like button and comment below. If you do, I'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Plus, check out our social media links for extra content on Instagram and TikTok at Film vs. Film Podcast, for X at FVF_podcast. Remember, please subscribe. Pod signing off.